Hello everyone, this is Media and Information Literacy. I'm your MIL teacher, Ma'am Marilee, and today we're going to learn about the manipulative media and information. Did you know that most of the time you are being manipulated? Manipulation, by definition, is the skillful handling or controlling something or someone. You can get the idea already by just looking at these images of manipulation. Like when you watch television and you see advertisements like this one. The Lazada 1111 advertisement with actress Catherine Bernardo and Korean actor Lee Min-ho. They want you to be excited to buy the things that you want at lower price. And these celebrities are like magnets for you to really buy even if you do not actually need the item. Another example is this Yum Burger. You can see this on TV with celebrities as well. There are also posters and flyers. And even if there are no words like buy it, when you see it, it's like inviting you to go to a fast food store. All of a sudden, you feel hungry. And there are a lot of advertisements that we can see on different types of media, on TV. Advertisements like this one. And on radio, we can also hear advertisements. In the newspaper, there are printed advertisements of different types of products and services, and also on digital media like Facebook, the advertisements just pop out and advertisements are everywhere. And I saw a quote that I find very true, especially nowadays. This is from Min Kim of TED Talks. He said that whoever controls the media controls the culture. Again, let us read. Whoever controls the media controls the culture. And I agree because in our previous lesson, we have learned that media is very powerful because the people tend to believe it instantly. Like we rely heavily on the information from media. This is why sometimes we are being manipulated by the people who are behind the media. And our culture changes with whatever is trending. But now, let us talk about manipulative media and information in the context of education. So, manipulative media is also known or called as manipulatives. So, manipulatives are the items or tools used to aid in hands on learning or models in which learners, you, the students, can manipulate to gain understanding and mastery of a concept that the teachers teach you at school. So, can you think of things or items that you can manipulate in school? I'll give you some examples later. Now, let us talk about the two types of manipulative media. So, the first one is the traditional or concrete manipulatives, and the second one is the digital or virtual manipulatives. The traditional or concrete manipulatives, in comparison to your module, is also called or known as non-digital manipulative media. Let us talk about traditional and concrete manipulatives first. So we have here real object, models, and field trips under traditional and traditional or concrete manipulatives. Here is an example of a real object that teachers use at school. This is an example. This is a geared clock. So geared clocks allow children to explore telling the time on analog clocks. I can remember that one of my teachers in elementary, I guess, used this geared clock to help us learn more about telling the time. So in this picture, I am not really quite sure which is the long finger and the short finger, but suppose that the short finger is pointing at number 2 and the long finger is pointing at number 11, then we can tell that the time here is 2:55. So this is an example of traditional or concrete manipulatives, a geared clock. Another example of a real object is this, the attribute blocks. So it can be used to teach sorting, like sorting the same shapes, sorting patterns, and identifying attributes such as colors. So this is a real object. Next one, for the models, this is a molecular model and it shows a pattern of the molecules. At some point, this will be your science project. And then another model is this, the digestive system. This is also used in science subject, and most science teachers who teach the digestive system and the parts of the digestive system is using this model. And this is, again, a traditional or concrete manipulative. Another example of traditional or concrete manipulative media is the field trip. So I have experienced a field trip before when I was in kindergarten. I don't know if field trip is still ongoing today, but this is an example of traditional or concrete media. So children here can see or able to see the real life animals that they can only see from the books before, like horses and other animals that are present in zoo, monkeys, zebra, and other animals. That is it for the traditional or the concrete manipulatives, or the non-digital. Now let us go to the digital or virtual manipulatives. Obviously, it involves computer because it is digital or virtual. So here, a student uses an iPad to answer a mathematical question. He can write his solution on the computer to come up with the correct answer. And obviously, he uses the computer. Another example of digital manipulative are these programs or applications that the student can manipulate by using a computer. Now let us differentiate or contrast or compare the concrete manipulatives and the virtual manipulatives. So let's start first with the concrete manipulatives or the traditional one. So obviously they are simpler and more movable. The student can touch it, and student has more control, of course, because the student can touch it and he or she can see it, and you can do whatever you want with the object, either it's a model or a real object like the geared clock and the attribute blocks. So it also allows trial and error, like if you cannot solve the question, or you cannot solve the problem at first try, then you can try again the second time, and so on until you get the correct answer or you get it correctly. Of course, it is less expensive because concrete manipulatives, for example, the geared clock, you just buy it once and then you can use it multiple times again and again, right? And it requires more thinking as well, because of course if you're a student and you can see the real object and you can touch it, then it requires more thinking for you to solve it and for you to get it correctly. So those are some of the advantages of concrete manipulatives. Whereas virtual manipulative, here it says it's a fun learning tool. True, because when it says virtual, it uses computer. And when it involves computer, it excites agad-agad yung mga estudyante na excite na gumamit ng computer. Ako before, I was excited a lot when I used the computer for the first time, because gumagana yung curiosity ko. So I am very curious, and that's why I became more excited to use the computer and how to use it. So it is a fun learning tool, and it is more practical for teachers when teaching, as like for me, especially now that we are under COVID-19, or we are experiencing COVID-19 pandemic. It is more practical to use a computer or virtual and digital manipulatives because it is easier, and face-to-face classes is not allowed. So virtual manipulative is very useful today. It also needs no cleanup, unlike the concrete manipulatives are the objects that after you use it, then you need to organize it and clean the mess after you use it. But in virtual manipulatives, you just close the window or close the application and then you can leave it there. And then also the virtual manipulative is available at home because you can manipulate the computer, especially if you have the resources at home, you have the computer and you have the application, then you can use it. Unlike the concrete manipulative, for example, the digestive system, not everybody can afford it, and not everybody has it at home unless you have the money to buy that object. So to sum up, here is a summary. Manipulative media can be both traditional and digital, and it is a very important tool in learning because it stimulates a lot of senses and produces a better learning experience. So that is it actually for today. For other important information and details, you can read your module, and you can always research using Google for other references. Thank you for learning with me, and until next time, have a great day, everyone.